Prince Karim the Aga Khan.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Our chief guest, Melinda French Gates, Chairman Haile Dabas, and the members of the Board of Trustees, President Firoz Rasool, Provost, Deans, faculty, and staff of the university, generous donors and well-wishers of the university from around the world, distinguished guests, parents, family members, and graduates. It is a great privilege to join you today in recognizing and celebrating the class of 2020. I do so in circumstances unlike any the world has faced in my lifetime, reminding us all how vital, how essential nurses, doctors, researchers, and teachers are to our collective health and well-being. And so, to our graduates, I begin by thanking as well as congratulating you. Each of you has chosen a path of service to humanity that is admirable and necessary. We are honored on this occasion by the participation of Ms. Melinda French Gates. Through her leadership, the Gates Foundation has helped improve human health, advance economic development, and empower women and girls across the globe. The long-standing partnership between the agencies of the Aga Khan Development Network and the Gates Foundation has featured collaboration in each of these areas, working together in Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, and East Africa. In the light of this special relationship, we are particularly pleased to welcome her to this convocation. For decades, both the Aga Khan Development Network and the Gates Foundation have devoted significant effort to improving health and health systems. Indeed, this university was founded upon the conviction that the quality of healthcare professionals is fundamental to any progress in these domains. It therefore gives me great pride to see the response of AKU and its hospitals during this pandemic, undertaken with the generous support from the Gates Foundation and others. I salute the courage of AKU's healthcare staff and administration, who have worked tirelessly through months of crisis, braving these difficult times with fortitude and resolve. The university has made a critical difference, advising national governments, training public sector medical staff, working with teachers and schools, raising awareness through media and journalism, and doing everything possible to treat patients and to save lives. I would also like to recognize the resilience and agility of our university faculty and students. In these challenging times, all of you have shown impressive adaptability, dedication, and perseverance. Thank you. AKU's contributions represent another chapter in the long story of great universities that have helped to guide the world through the turbulence of history. The global pandemic response has been built on decades of earnest research, often conducted in relative obscurity, but making possible the development of new tests, tracing strategies, therapies, and vaccines. While we should regret the unequal distribution of these achievements, we must also appreciate the intellectual triumph that their development represents. Melinda French Gates and the Gates Foundation have played a crucial and catalytic role. As you know, AKU researchers have also been part of this progress, identifying and tracking new COVID mutations, assessing vaccines, and evaluating therapies. AKU aims to be as relevant for the next global health crisis as it has been for this one. Today, AKU is building its capacity for cutting-edge research applicable to the distinctive health risks for populations in Asia and Africa. It will seek to harness the enormous potential of advances in artificial intelligence, genomic medicine, and stem cell science to address tomorrow's challenges as well as today's. Translating this potential requires more than innovation. It requires professionals capable of complex judgments, in balance with the cultures and traditions of these regions. This is why AKU is evolving into a comprehensive university, active in the humanities and the social sciences. As our thoughts turn to the future and the bright potential of AKU and its graduates, I must pause to reflect on this moment of significant transition. Today's convocation makes a meaningful juncture in our university's history. For only the third time since our founding in 1983, AKU will have a new president. As you all know, President Rasool has asked to retire, and I have reluctantly agreed, understanding how important it will be for Firoz and Saida to spend the coming years with their children and grandchildren in Canada. Under Firoz's leadership, our university has known remarkable growth in the past 15 years. New facilities, new campuses, new faculties, and impressive new technologies. The university has also grown as a leading academic and intellectual force. AKU graduates are reaching the highest levels of qualification and accomplishment. It is most gratifying to see that some of them are now returning to AKU as faculty and leaders. These achievements are a source of great happiness for our trustees and me. President Rasool's impressive accomplishments have given us the confidence to broaden our horizons and expand our aspirations of excellence. With these aspirations in full view, I have appointed Suleiman Shahabuddin as president of AKU. Suleiman, who began his career at AKU 35 years ago, is coming home, along with his wife Zinat, who is a graduate of the university and holds a PhD in nursing. I have known Suleiman for many years. He has been the regional CEO of the Aga Khan Health Services in East Africa for a decade, and previously CEO of the Aga Khan hospitals in Kenya and Tanzania. I have been continually impressed by his commitment, his capacities as a leader, and his continuing dedication to learning. Please join me in welcoming them back both to AKU. I spoke earlier of transitions. You came to this convocation as students. At the end of today's ceremonies, you will be graduates of the Aga Khan University, stepping into new roles and new responsibilities. I am confident that the class of 2020 will walk in the footsteps of your fellow alumni as leaders in the pursuit of excellence, wherever your path may lead you. As you start that journey, this is a day for all of us to renew our commitment to an ever more hopeful future, one that will be richer in the products of human ingenuity, more just in their distribution, and more abundant in respect and compassion for one another. I offer you my sincerest congratulations. Thank you.
Chancellor, Honorable Chief Guest, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow graduates, the Aga Khan class of 2020, or as a friend once jokingly called us, the Aga Khan class of COVID. This may be an unconventional ceremony. We may be sitting here with masks with our loved ones hundreds of miles away. But let me tell you all, even a global pandemic could not stop us from graduating. So congratulations, AQ class of 2020, you did it. We all finally did it. Before reflecting on all that we are celebrating, I want you all to picture a few very true stories. Aisha is a 4-year-old girl in a village in Pakistan. She is not learning or laughing at school. She is on the ground sweeping floors. She is just one of 22.5 million uneducated children in Pakistan. Simone is an orphan a few days old in Tanzania. Her mother died bleeding on a bus in labor. Tanzania has amongst the highest maternal mortality in the world. Jakuna is a resident nurse in Murang, Kenya. He is the only healthcare provider for 8,000 people. The WHO recommends at least 25 nurses for 10,000 people. Kenya barely has 8. I know this is a rather grim note to start such a joyous occasion on. However, it is with a purpose that I am sharing all of these stories. Today, all of you in this beautiful green regalia are not only celebrating your hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, sacrifices, and accomplishments, you are celebrating so much more. You are celebrating the hope that you symbolize for Aisha, for Simone, for Jakuna, for the thousands of others. You are celebrating being change makers and leaders in a world that needs you, in nations that built you, and when we're facing our worst humanitarian crisis in COVID-19. Now, more than ever before, the world needs doctors, nurses, and midwives. It needs educationists and journalists. It needs health systems experts and epidemiologists. It needs men and women like you to change the landscape, to ensure that such suffering ceases to exist, to ensure that we, as nations and as humanity, are better prepared. And why am I so sure that you and I are so instrumental in this change? That's because I have spent 5 years growing old with many of you. I have spent days at the sports center with many of you. I have spent nights hysterically laughing about exams. I have spent hours worrying about that lecture with all of you. And I have learned what the Aga Khan student embodies. It is commitment, it is resilience, it is leadership, it is talent. And there were tougher days. Not all the days were that easy. There were days when we would have a child begging, pleading, crying with us to help ease the pain. There were days where we accidentally wrote EEGs instead of ECGs. That's a true story. So all of those days, the happy, the sad, the grueling, the gratifying, have culminated in a very deserved today and so many memories. And none of them would have been possible without the security guard, without the librarian, the cook, the housekeeping staff, the administrative staff. Thank you for making every day possible. And thank you to the phenomenal faculty. Thank you to the friends like family. And thank you to those who are happier than we are today, to our parents and our loved ones. We couldn't have done this without you. And finally, thank you for the man with the vision, His Highness the Chancellor, who built our futures. Before I end, I want to leave you all with 2 ideas: family and hope. Today, we are not the Aga Khan University, Nairobi, or Kenya, or UK, or Uganda, or Pakistan. We are simply the Aga Khan University. We are the AKU family, inextricably linked to one another. And like every family, it can be too much at times, but it will always have your back. And today, as we leave the nest, I have the audacity to hope. The hope that if we give it our all, if it is one life that we save, one child that we teach, one story that we change, it is more than enough. It is the hope of a better future together. So let today mark a beginning, not an end. Fellow graduates, especially over this past year, we have been living history. I think it is high time you and I go out there and start making history. So I cannot wait to see all that you achieve. Here is to new beginnings. Thank you.